How's it going, everyone? My name is Blizzard and welcome to another tutorial. And in today's video we're going to be building this huge, super simple, super efficient mob farm. Well, not super efficient, but super simple. Just for those type of players who are starting out looking for some kind of way to get mob loot without having to go out and fight for mobs, and they're fairly new to this, so they're just getting a handle of how mob spawning works. And so I brought the simplest mob spawner design here, and I'm going to show you, my viewers, how to build this thing. You guys just stick around and I'll show you exactly how to do it. Oh yeah, and on top of that, don't forget to leave a like if you like the video and subscribe if you're new here, because it helps me out a lot and I'd really appreciate anything. Now let's get on with the video. Okay, now for the materials in this tutorial. You're going to need about 10 stacks of building blocks. This isn't 10, this is an over-exaggeration. But just to kind of give you an idea, you might want like 8 to 10 from what I'm seeing as the most simple version of it. You're going to want a water bucket, you're going to want some building blocks, which I'm using iron to give you a better clarity and you can kind of see what I'm doing better. But you don't need iron blocks. You just need to have any kind of building block you desire. You could build this out of dirt for all I care. It'll still work the exact same way. You could build it out of grass blocks. You could build it out of anything that's opaque, really, that blocks light. So to get started with the tutorial, you're going to need 4 blocks in the center. This is where you're going to have your mobs drop. Okay, so you're going to be standing approximately 23 blocks under it. And so you're going to want to go up here, and basically you can break that, and you're going to be building some kind of platform around here. Now this block right here is a temporary block. Just keep that in mind. You don't need all of those. You don't need the corners if you don't want them. To build the tube, it doesn't really matter how you build it, but you're basically going to want to start down here. This is block 0. You're going to go up 1, 2, all the way up to 22 blocks. So starting down here, this is 0 right here. So it's going to be 1 above your thing. So this would be -1 where you're standing. And then you're going to go up 1 right here. This is 0. This is like where they fall. This is where your mobs are going to land down the chute of the spawner we're going to build. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 22. And then you're going to go ahead and build a little platform here so that you don't fall off. And I recommend that you don't do this unless you have some kind of water or a way down. In survival at least, because that could be an issue. And so basically we're going to go ahead and build all these up. Since I'm in creative, I can just fly and build these up to the correct height pretty quickly. So I'll see you when we get this tunnel built. Okay, so we got the tube built down here, and as you can see I broke most of the bottom blocks. You can just break all of these out if you'd like to. It's optional. No, it isn't optional. You need to see them to kill them. But you're going to need slabs. You don't need slabs, but they are helpful. You can make the slabs out of the cobblestone that you picked, or you can go cut down a tree and get some slabs. They are helpful since you can crouch in the newer updates and fit in a 1.5 block gap. You can actually fit in here and kill them so that baby zombies don't escape rather than sitting back here and trying to swipe at them. So this is helpful. Just make sure you don't take it too close, because if the creepers see you, then things could get really bad. So now that we have that killing platform built, we're going to head up here, and what you want to do, if you want to save resources, you can use slabs. So you can take the cobblestone and split them into slabs, and it'll actually double whatever resources you're using for the floor. If you don't decide to do that though, just feel free to follow this tutorial exactly with blocks. You just saw what I did there. I built a block out and I went too high, so I'm going to leave this here just as like a thing. So you go out and then you build up 2, and so right here, this is basically going to be your water stream. So these are going to be where all the platforms are. You don't have to do this first. I'm just marking them out so you can kind of get a visual. So this isn't going to be the platforms. These are going to be the platforms up here. And down here are going to be the water that's pushing them into the tunnel right here. So you want to start here. This is starting as 1. And then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you'll see why in just a second, because water can only flow 8 blocks. So once you do that, you're going to put a little wall up here to hold the water in, obviously. And you're going to build these walls up to high right now. And you can also save materials by not doing this corner. It's only a couple blocks, so I mean, it's up to you if you put it in. you're still gonna have to build up here for the wall anyways, around the outside, so I'll fill it in just for tutorial's sake and getting a nice square build. So all you want to do is fill those in with walls, and as you can see, when I'm down here as a mob and I'm trying to jump up, I can't, so I'm just gonna get pushed by water. And so now what you want to do is do that same thing for all 4 sides. Just a side note, guys, if you are doing this in survival, obviously you are, to get that good precious loot, you're going to want to cover these up with half slabs or blocks. Actually, you can cover them up with any. I just use different block materials so I can mark out where they are, but once you get these platforms in, it is pretty obvious where the holes are, so just make sure you cover those up if you'd like. And now that we have all these sides built, we're going to go ahead and hop up here, and we're going to move on to the next step. So the next step is basically to take these out and connect them as a square. So basically just come over here all the way out to the edge of that block right there. We should be getting close, and right there. And you're going to make a square on all 4 sides, just like this. And so it's going to be a big square ring, and then what you can do is take your blocks of whatever you're choosing, and you can fill these platforms in like so. Like I said earlier, if you want to use half slabs and basically save half of your materials, you can do that too. Just make sure the water stream is 2 blocks below, and these half slabs, it is very important that these half slabs are on top of the block, because if they are on the bottom of the block, it won't count as a spawnable block, and you will not be getting any mobs whatsoever in your farm. So if you're using slabs like this, you want to make sure they're on top of your block to make sure that mobs are spawnable. In order to do that, to check, you can just put a full block next to it and make sure they are flush, and therefore it is on the top half of the block. So go ahead and do all 4 sides, and I'll catch up with you when that's done. As soon as you have this finished, all 4 platforms, you can go ahead and do what I do. So basically you come out to this outside wall here, outside ring, and you go 2 blocks up, and now only 2 because I will show you multiple roof versions you can do. So you can go up 3 like this, and then place the full roof in as so, to leave 2 blocks under here for mobs to spawn, other than endermans, of course. Enderman of course. Yeah, sure, we can go with that one. And then, but what you have to do is make sure you light up the top very good, so that no mobs spawn up here in the nighttime, because theoretically if you're playing in survival, there is going to be nighttime, and that will decrease your spawn rates, and that would be very dangerous if a mob were to fall in some kind of pond or lake, or you leave a water stream up here so you can get up top. It would be very dangerous to have mobs sneaking up behind you and killing you in your sleep. So that's not good. So just make sure you light it up if you do it this way, or if you do decide to go with the 2 blocks high, you can save a little bit of resources with your building blocks by again taking the half slabs and putting them over the roof, and you don't have to cover this side either. I'm not sure if it lets light in. I think it's just a lighting glitch if you do that, but if you do put them here, again, like I said on the bottom, they can spawn on blocks that are flush like this, so make sure you do it on the bottom half this time, on the bottom half of the blocks, so you're not flush. So if you were to walk next to them, you would walk up and down a half slab automatically without jumping. And so if you do that, you don't need lighting, you don't need any torches, first of all because you can't place them on them anyways, and second of all because mobs will not spawn on half blocks, unless of course they are up here, in which case they can spawn. So go ahead and build the wall in like so, 2 blocks high, and then place your choice of roof on top. I'm going to go with slabs personally, but that is entirely up to you. Just a quick side note too, if you are building this in survival yet again, theoretically it will come a point where it's nighttime and or where you have the roof in, so make sure you have this all lit up. So when it gets dark out, no mobs will be spawning across there, and you won't have to deal with any skeletons or creepers shooting at you throughout the night while you're trying to get your nice big project done so that you can supply your Minecraft family and future wife and husband and kids with some bone meal, because that's always the best drops. Well, that and gunpowder, so you can blow their houses up later on if they disobey you. But I mean, besides that, just make sure you have the inside of the build lit up so that nothing spawns yet again, because mobs are dangerous, and this is some dangerous work you're doing here, especially if it's your first time building one. You're still trying to figure out how spawners work, so just make sure you light everything up. Your best bet is to light everything up, and make sure nothing can spawn where you're trying to work, because that would be bad. And if a hole blows in the floor, you'll have to repair it, or you might fall through, and so many bad things can happen. So just make sure you light everything up, or make everything with half slabs, I guess. But I don't see why you would do that, because the floor is where they're supposed to spawn. So once you Once you're done, you can break the torches and such. But for right now, we're just going to put the ceiling in, and I'll catch you guys when we're done with that. And we have the last block placed in. So as you can see, where I removed the torches, it's already getting kind of dark here. So what you want to do now, last step, you're going to need possibly up to 8 water buckets if you don't want to make a water source block, or infinite water source. If you do want to make an infinite water source, however, you only need 2. So basically what you want to do for the water source, if you don't already know, is get yourself a place like this. You can actually use half slabs as a wall if you want, just to make it easier to see. That's what I'm going to do. And you want to pick 2 corners, opposite corners, with your water bucket 1 over here and water bucket 2 over here. Or you can do it the other way around. You can put a water bucket back here, or a water bucket back here. And there's so many ways of making infinite water sources. Just make sure you do opposite corners. And so no matter where you pick up the water from, it will actually never run out. See if I keep picking it up here, pick it up here. I feel like if you pick it up too fast though, it'll glitch out like that. So just make sure you don't do that. But you can pick up water buckets as much as you need. So all you're going to need is 2 for each side. And I'm going to show you this really quick. And if you place a bucket here, and if you made the thing 8 blocks long, it'll go right up to this edge and it'll stop like so. And if you go over here and here, it'll also go over here and stop like that. And you're going to do the same thing for all 4 sides. So we're just going to place one here and here inside the tunnels going to the center, and here and here. And all 4 of these will go right to the edge and they'll stop, and then you can destroy your water source blocks by just placing blocks here and getting rid of your path. And so now the last and final step entirely is to remove the torches. Yay! So this is probably the scariest part because you most likely don't have a way out. If you want to, make sure you have some water, and make sure you break a hole out here and put some water down so you can escape, and then place buckets like that or blocks like that so you can glide your way down happily. Make sure you do that. Or you can take some ladders with you, I guess, and build up from the side while you're building it. But basically the last step is to remove all of the torches and lighting you have, and it should get pretty dark in here. So this isn't entirely dark. These things around here you see are the slabs acting, and I believe they don't have an effect on light. So light level 0 and 0, and no, they don't have an effect on light. So this is a completely dark room. It's just a completely dark box, and if I had a game mode set to where mobs could spawn, basically what they would do is they'd spawn in and all their packs and everything, and they would pathfind over to here, and they wouldn't be able to jump back up even if they were swimming. And so basically they would flow all the way down here and get pushed off the edge, and they would drop and die, and all their items and goodies will get dropped out here. And what you can do as well is make sure you light up this area. If you don't want to hit the torches off, you can always do that. But basically that's it. That's all you need for the starting mob spawner. Now if you do want to check out my other tutorials, I did make an automatic sorting machine. So if you want to take a hopper, be my guest. If you want to take a couple hoppers, you can actually break down underneath and place hoppers into some kind of chest or a storage system. It doesn't really matter, and that will collect all the items. I think no it won't, because learning moment, if you put half slabs here and you put those hoppers there, then you'll be able to collect all the items. Alright, and so half slabs, this drop might kill a couple mobs off, but for the most part it's extremely efficient. It should let most of the survive. And you just have to make sure you can stand down here so you can swipe at them. Make sure no creepers can look at you, so if they do drop down here and there's a creeper right there, it will be able to see you. Just make sure these are slabs. If not, if you don't want to do this, then you can always put a hopper minecart, because if you didn't know, a hopper minecart can pick up items through full blocks like this. If you put a hopper minecart down here instead of a regular hopper and an item falls on it, it will pick up the item. So yeah, with that said, I'll leave a link to my other video explaining the automatic sorting machine that I built over there, and you can use that to implement it into your own design. You can build it up with a sky base and like a down low inside the ground, however you want to build it. Just make sure there's a dark room up here and everything around you is fairly lit up. You can even check caves too around you, because if a mob spawns in the cave, that means it's not spawning up there, and that will decrease your rates. But for the most part, you should get a pretty decent amount of mob spawning. If I did have mobs turned on in this world, then you would see mobs spawning right about now. But for now, that's all you need to do. That's just a side note too. I did a dumb Make sure your hoppers are all pointing into this one. They don't need to be pointing into that one. You can make them points kind of into here. But just make sure they're pointed into a hopper that goes into this chest. You can even point them directly in this chest if you like. But yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it for the tutorial. I'll see you guys later.